Welcome in for day 3 of the Meeples Champion. We're going to be discussing another game that has, I think, a pretty fun theme. Definitely, I have a couple sisters who say this is one of their favorite themes. And that theme just so happens to be furry and cute. It is the Isle of Cats. This is a newer game. It is something that's come out in the last couple of years that I think had a big original hit, and then it didn't exactly fall off. It just kind of, there's so much that comes out these days. It's easy for a game to kind of get that initial push and then kind of get forgotten about. And this is one of those where when it first came out, when I was looking at my favorite board game channels, you know, Dice Tower and elsewise, it just felt like it kind of got mentioned, kind of seemed like people liked it, and then it seemed like it didn't get brought up again. And to me, that's not at the expense of the game. It's just there's so much out there. This game is big, there's no denying that. And it has got a lot of pieces. But I love the features that this game brings. I love the theme breeds through. You're on a ship. You've got all these rats on the ship. You're trying to fill the ship with cats to wipe them out. You're trying to get cats of the same family together. You're trying to, you're trying to get enough fish to pay to eat so the cats can eat so they can get out there. That's all fantastic theme. It's fantastic piece quality, and that to me is always one of the most important things. The better the quality of the pieces, without you having to overspend. Yes, this is an expensive game. This is a $60 game. So this is not a cheap game like the last couple days have been. But the pieces are of the quality that I say, well, okay, they hold up. Could they have gone with better? Yes, there's almost always a better version of the pieces. But they, for $60, made a lot of stuff, and they did a pretty good quality. There is quite the rule book, and there is a lot of rules to this. It takes a little bit, I think, to truly understand what you're doing. The first time I played was a solo game. I usually play by myself, you know, whether it's literally a solo game or just me playing multiple characters, trying to figure out how a game works. I definitely got to the end of the game and went, oh yeah, I made a lot of mistakes. But then I played the next day with my wife, one-on-one, and made a lot less mistakes. It's not hard to figure it out as you go. It has got quite the bag, and this comes with inside even more pieces to be added to the board. And then, of course, there's the boards themselves. This is your ship. This is showing you the stages of where you are on your journey. Well, that was the outer shot of the ship. This is your actual ship card. And it's really nice. This is good quality cardboard. This is not going to break. This isn't going to rip on you. And I think it's got a great visual of everything. And then you have your cards. Now, your cards, they're not bad. This is a strong card. I definitely think they could have done better. But I think because of how many cards are in the game, my guess is they were trying to make sure not to drive the price of that game up too much, because these cards could be another quality level up. I definitely think that this is something that, I don't think they skimped. I just think they had to make a business decision, and this was definitely not the worst card I've ever had in a game. I've had games where I was like, this card's going to rip in a moment. These have not ripped on me yet. I've played this game quite a few times. I've owned it for a good 6 months now. Nothing is torn in this game, so let's not get confused about that. But I definitely think that they could have done better on the cards. You could sleeve them if you wanted. I don't necessarily think you need to sleeve these, but if people want to sleeve, I'm not a sleever. I try not to do that. I think that most games don't get played enough to really require sleeves, and the ones that do, I take care of my games really well. And I think that that's up to you and knowing what's going on in your household and with your friend group. Do you have somebody who, when you play poker with them, you notice that they're those people that like turn their cards and kind of like bend them? I have friends who do that, and I'll be like, stop messing up my decks. Don't do that. You know, do you have kids in the house? I got a 2-year-old. She doesn't touch the games. But in a couple of years, she's going to want to play games with me. And I might have to start thinking about sleeving, because I don't want to have to deal with her ripping cards because she's excitable. Everybody's got different levels of what's going on around them. Just be aware of what's going on with you. So where does this game rank? Replayability. Yes, it is replayable, but how big of a gamer are you? Are you looking to add this to a collection of 10 games? Or are you like me and you've got a big collection. I think this gets lost in a big collection. And I think that's exactly why other channels got excited, talked about it, and then didn't say anything negative. It just stopped being talked about. Because it's a fun game. But compared to all your other choices, it does not get brought to the table as much as you think. It's got a great theme. It's got great art. It's got primarily top components. It is expensive. It is a little complicated. And it is something that when you play it, the luck factor comes in a little bit, but in general, you're kind of playing the same game every time. You know, yeah, it could go a little bit off track, but it's not like you're making that big of a shift in decisions. And I think that for me was, I didn't feel like I was ever playing the exact same game, but I definitely felt like when I play a game, I want to feel like I've got 5 like directions to go. That's kind of my core. Hey, what do you want to do in this game? Do you want to hit this hard early? Do you want to have do you want to be fighting? Do you want to be diplomacy? Do you want to build up your money? Do you want to build up your cards? Different ways to potentially get to the end and compete for that first player mark. This one, it felt like buy cats. And that was really it. There's a lot of things to do affect those cats. And I definitely don't feel like it's a one-dimensional game. But it wasn't a 5-dimensional game. It was like a 3-dimensional game. And that, to me, is what kind of drives this down. So don't be afraid to get it, but it's expensive. See if friends own it first. And I really would recommend talk to your friend group, talk to your family, talk to anybody you play board games with. And if one person owns this, that's probably enough. And if it just so happens that you and your friends, this is your big game, this is your, back in the day, Catan or Ticket to Ride, and it's a game you're going to get to the table, multiple times a month, lots of people like to play it, go get it. Don't be afraid to own multiple games. I have got loads of games that my friends own because I just was like, I love this game and I want to have the chance to play it even if they're not around. That is acceptable. Don't consider to eliminate a game like this because somebody already owns it. Just put it on a leash, hold back your excitement initially, and give yourself a chance to really see how much you like it. Because I will tell you right now that tomorrow's game is an example of a game that I made that mistake with. And when you make that mistake, it's not easy to backtrack it. So, this has been the Isle of Cats, and you have been watching The Meeples Champion. Check back in tomorrow.